Barak Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakadash. Barak Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to all the brothers, spreading this truth and righteousness. What to do when they come for us is the title of this one. I've been seeing like a lot of different brothers and elders have been doing this topic of what to do when they come for us, and really the short and simple answer is to call upon the Lord's name, right? And just have faith, be a faithful servant into the end. You got to have faith and call upon the Lord's name and just let Yahweh Shai do the work. Then we doing our work right now, going out there prophesizing, warning the people, and then the Lord's going to do his work. So then by that time, whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen to you, because it's going to be your destiny. So really all you can do is just call upon the Lord, ask for salvation, and remain faithful and keep your faith all the way to the end. But what happens when they get you, like when they actually get you, they take you, let's just say, down to like a FEMA camp or something, and they start tempting you with the mark of the beast, the implant chip, the micro implant chip, or they start tempting you with other things that's going to have you sin against the Lord, or those things that's going to make you be not faithful to the end, that's going to corrupt you. Then what happens? Well, what do you do? Well, I was asking myself that question, and I was reading Second Maccabees, the seventh chapter. Um, I think it was like a couple of days ago, and really the answer was right there. So I'm gonna actually just start going through it. This is the one I'm gonna bring out. I'm gonna start from the beginning. The Second Maccabees, the seventh chapter. It came to pass also that 7 brothers with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. So you got 7 brothers, see, and they got taken. So the king came for them, just like the king of Babylon today is going to send his troops and stuff, martial law, to come get us, because we're bringing the truth out, we're keeping the laws. The same thing that they had to go through, these 7 brothers. So, and they were tempted to not be faithful by tasting the swine flesh. But that is, then it came down to it. Were they going to remain faithful to the end? Were they going to call on the Lord, saying, well, let's keep reading. Verse 2. But one of them that spake first said, thus what wouldest thou ask and learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the law of our father. And you got to have that attitude. That's the attitude that you got to have when they come for you in these last days. Perfect, right there. You got to say, man, I'm ready to die, rather than transgress the laws of our fathers, because you know where that's going to lead you. Rather than to take the chip, or rather than to do something so small like taste swine flesh. You got to be ready you got to be ready to give your life for the whole law. Verse 3. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot, which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the utmost part of his body, and the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire, and to be fried in a pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they started one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus, the Lord God look upon us, and in truth has comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and ye shall be comfort in his servants. Right? And when the first was dead, after this manner they brought the second to make him a mocking stock, and when he had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, they asked him, wilt thou eat? before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body. So the first brother, they heated up the pans and stuff like that. And since he was the first one to speak, they cut his tongue out, man. This is brutal. This is brutal stuff right here because his mother's watching, his brothers is watching, and they know that they're next. And they cut out his tongue. They cut off his limbs, like his arms, legs, and stuff like that. Just cutting off anything that they wanted to cut off. And he was still alive, so they brought him to the fire, and they burnt the man up, man. And his brothers, you talking about your blood brothers and your mother that loves you, is sitting there watching these things. But he went through all of that because he said, I'm not going to willfully sin against the Lord. So he had something to prove, and those brothers had a lot waiting for them when they went up there to the spiritual world for remaining faithful to the end. And see, in verse 6, at the end of verse 6, it says that he should be comforted in his servants, meaning that they were able to stomach all that. They were able to stand all that because what people don't understand is it's like the Lord controls everything down to an ant. Every single thing. The Lord could easily made it to where those brothers didn't feel no pain. Or if they did feel pain, it wasn't as bad as it could have been, and it was over with. And he gave them the heart to for the second one to go, for the third one, the fourth one to go, for them not to back out, for them to remain faithful. He gave them the heart to do that. The Lord hardened their heart and gave them the heart to withstand that. The Lord made them comfort. He comforted his servants while they were going through that. So if you get snatched up in these last days and you get took down FEMA camp and they finna behead you, man, just remain faithful to the end. Because you might not even feel it. You might not even feel it, man. The Lord might comfort you. Verse, and then they went to the second one, talking about pulling his skin off his head with the hair. Ooh, if that's not torture right there, I mean, come on. But verse 8, but he answered in his own language, Paleo Hebrew, and said, no, wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did. And when he was at the last gasp, he said, thou like a fury takest us out of the present life, but the King of the world shall raise us up who have died in his laws into everlasting life. So this would be considered Old Testament right here. And this is mentioned in Yahushua right here. So Yahushua is mentioned in the Old Testament because it says, but the King of the world shall rise us up, shall raise us up. So he's not talking about the king that came from him. He's talking about the king of this world, the true king, the King of kings, the Lord of lords. That's Yahushua. He's going to raise up he's going to raise them up when he come back. Through Yahweh, through the power of Yahweh, but he's going to raise them up when he come back through the resurrections. And then who have died for his laws, right? So they died for his laws, and Yahushua died for the laws too, into everlasting life. So they're going to be raised up. So they knew that it was something waiting for them on the other end for remaining faithful until the end. They knew that they was going to get that everlasting life. When are they going to get that everlasting life? These same brothers are going to be back in the kingdom with everlasting life because they remain faithful to the end. Or they probably came back on the earth plenty of times. Third, fourth generation, like the Bible speaks of. After him was the third made a mocking stock. So, they laughing at him. Probably got him up there naked, laughing at him, playing with him. You know how these heathen be. And when he was required, he put out his tongue, and the right soon holding forth his hands manfully, and said courageously, these I have from heaven, and for his laws I despise them, and from him I hope to receive them again. Insomuch that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded his pain, but regarded the pain. So this brother was so strong, he was so down for the Lord, man, that he went up there, he stuck out his tongue first in his hands. He said, go ahead, get busy on me. Because he said, look, man, I'm gonna die for these laws. Go ahead, do it. That they was marveling. They was like, dang, look how tough he is. Because He didn't care about the pain that was going to come that he seen his other two brothers. At that point, you numb. You just seen your two blood brothers get done so dirty like that, get the skin ripped off their head by their hair, their tongue and arms cut off and burned on fire. By that, and your mama over there crying to death. So by this time, you numb, and you got all faith in the Lord. So now you want to go. You like, okay, now I already know ain't no getting out of this. I want to go, and I want to get that everlasting life. So like I said, the Lord gonna comfort you if you go through something like that. See, he said he regarded not the pain. He didn't even think about the pain. It didn't even exist no more. You know, like if you get in a fight, like let's just say you at a bar when you was back in the world, and you get in a fight, and you and your homeboys get it popping. You don't even feel nothing while you fight. You might get hit with a couple good pieces. You stop feeling stuff. You so mad and angry and focused on getting busy that your adrenaline is rushing that you don't feel no pain. Or you heard stories of brothers, they get in shootouts and their brother gets shot and then he get back to the house or whatever and he looked down and he shot. He like, I didn't even know that I was shot. I got a whole bullet in me. I didn't feel it because his adrenaline was rushing so much. So you might not even feel the pain because all you're going to be thinking about is the Lord. You finna go meet the Lord. Bow your head, pray to the Lord, and remain faithful to the end. And that should be enough for you not to even feel the pain, man. Because all you're going to be thinking about, look, I'm finna die, but I'm finna go see the Lord, man. You know how long it's been since, especially us brothers that was in the world, since we had our Lord, since we knew our Lord's name. It's been a long time, man. So that's a very great thing to think about. I'm going to keep reading. Now, when the man was dead also, they torment and mangled the fourth in a like manner. So they did the fourth like that. So when he was ready to die, he said, thus it is good, being put to death by man, to look for hope from God, to be raised up again by him. So they all know about this, the truth. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. So he's saying for the king and them, they're not gonna be raised back up, because they're devils. Afterwards, they brought the fifth also and mangled him, right? Then looked he into the king and said, thou hast power over men. Thou art corruptible. Thou doest what thou wilt. Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of God, but abide a while and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. So he said, yeah, you're going to get me right now, but your whole seed is going to be tormented. And these brothers are being accountable for their sins. They know that our nation went off. So they saying everything that's happening to us right now, my brothers, we deserved it, because our nation went off. We sinned against our Lord. Our Lord was not with us. That's the only reason why you're able to do this to us right now is because of our sins towards our Lord. So that they're circumcised of the heart and they're being accountable for their sins, which is the same thing. All this stuff that they're going through is stuff that brothers are going to go through today. It's coming full circle, and it's the same way that we think today. We're going to keep this law to the end. We deserve anything that happens to us because our people, when we went off, we're going to take that accountability. Verse 18. After him also they brought the sixth, who being ready to die said, be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, right? Having sinned against our God. Therefore, marvelous things are done unto us. So he's saying, like, look, man, be not deceived, like, without cause. Like, we only suffering and going through these things because we sinned against our God. It's not you that's great. It's not you other nations like Esau. It's not you that's great. It's not the only reason why you're in the position you're in is because we sinned against our God. The only reason why we're in the position we in is because we sinned against our God. And they gonna see that during this end times when the Lord come back and he started to come back and get his elect. Right? Verse 19. But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished. But the mother was marvelous above all and worthy of honorable memory. For when she saw her 7 sons slain with a space of one day, she bare it with a good courage because of the hope that she had in the Lord. So even the woman, even a mother, seeing her 7 sons slain in one day, what mother today could witness that and not have a heart attack? and still remain strong and not give in until the end. Because I mean, these Eve today, they'd be telling they the first son before he even died, they would have been like, no, just eat it, just eat the pork. We eat bacon every day. Just eat it, just do it. But this woman was a righteous woman, so this is another example of a righteous woman. She said, nah, her own son. She's like, go ahead and take your death, pretty much, you know. So that's another righteous woman, you know. And a lot of brothers, we always like to talk about, man, imagine you want to have the courage, you want to have the faith of Abraham, because Abraham was told to kill his begotten, chosen son Isaac, and he was going to do it without a doubt. The angel had to call from heaven and stop him. He's like, man, that's a lot of faith right there. That's a lot. You got to have a lot of faith. You have to be strong like Abraham in this faith. But you got to be strong like these 7 brothers too, man, because they went through it. Verse 21. Yeah, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, Paleo Hebrew, filled with the courage spirits, and stirred up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. So she was being strong like a man. She said unto them, I cannot tell how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. So she ain't even taking credit for giving them birth and creating them. Women's all every today always talk about, oh, I made you. I bring you in this world, I could take you out the world. She giving that to the Lord, man. But doubtless the creator of the Lord. So she giving all credit. See, this is a very righteous woman, man. A lot of women got to learn from her today. Who formed the generation of men and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake. So they're a living sacrifice for the laws. And that's what we are today. We're a sacrifice for the laws. Because look, going back to this woman, a lot of women say I made you and stuff like that, man. She giving all that credit to the Lord, because for you, even if you are a woman, you try to say like you made your child, that's being very prideful, because you didn't that sperm that swim to your seed, that was all controlled by the Lord. I mean, to her egg, that was all controlled by the Lord. That baby grown in your body, that was the Lord growing that baby in your body. So you have to give all that praise to the Lord. I mean, like this woman did. It's not like she was actually with her hands in there turning them and moving them and woo the bam. Your body was just doing it organically. Why? Because the Lord gave you a body and created your body to do it organically. So you're supposed to give credit to the Lord at all times for everything. Verse 24 now Antioch, thinking herself despised and subjecting it to be reproached, speech with the youngest was yet alive. So the youngest did not only exhort him by his words, but also assured him with oath that he would make him both rich and a happy man if he would turn from the laws of his fathers, that also he would take him for his friend and trust him with his affairs. So this where a lot of Jakes would have gave in at. This man just killed all your brothers, did that to your mother, but they would have took the money, because he was like, okay, I'm gonna make you a very rich man, and you're gonna be very happy, and you're gonna be, matter of fact, you're gonna be the king's friends, mean that you're gonna have special privileges. Like, imagine you Donald Trump friend today. You're gonna have special privileges. You're gonna get, if you need Secret Service, if you need to get off a case, if you catch a case, they gonna shut the case, get you off the case, special, connections and stuff to make stuff move. And he gonna make you a rich man. So imagine Donald Trump came to you today and said, man, just forget the law. See, in a lot of these different camps and stuff, and these Christian churches and stuff like that, this is the deal that they take. Because they see us getting killed down in the streets and slain down in the streets. But the thing is like, they take that money and they say they want to be the king's friend, And for them to, go with false doctrines and stuff like that and not keep the law ultimately, But verse 25, but when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, and the king called his mother and started her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. So he like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. You just killed my brothers, man. And and then they called the mother to try to get her to talk to him. so he could save his life. And when he had exhorted her with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son. So she went to counsel him. But she, bowing herself toward him, laughing, the cruelty tyrant to Scar spake in her country language on this matter. O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up into this age, and endured the troubles of education. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heavens and the earth and all that is therein, and consider that God made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brothers, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brother. So she already knew, like, I'm gonna have them again. So that's important. That's very important, because a lot of brothers say, man, look, today in today's world, when they come for us, they kill our wives, kill our children, and kill our family and stuff. And a lot of brothers always ask this question: will we get them again in the kingdom? Will we have them again in the kingdom? The answer to that is yes. You're going to get them, because look, the mother knew that she would get her sons back. How? Once they in the kingdom, she know that she's going to get those same sons back. The Lord's going to give her all that back for remaining faithful. Look, fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brother, take thy death, meaning he's going to die, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brothers. What does she mean when she say that I may receive thee again? She's talking about when they get to the kingdom, she's going to have her sons back, and they know that. So you got to deal with that. While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, "Who wait ye for?" So he's like, "What are y'all waiting for? I will obey the king's commandment. I will not obey the king's commandments, but I will obey the commandments of the law that was given unto our fathers by Moses." Right? "And thou that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shall not escape the hand of God. So, having Esau been the author of mischief against the Hebrews today, Esau and all the other nations, so what's going to happen to them? They're not going to escape the hand of God. See, this one chapter got a lot of meat on it, man. "And thou, the living Lord, be angry with us a little while for our chastising and correction, yet shall he be at one again with his servants." Look, that's even more meat. Because that's what we always say. Look, the Lord was just mad at us for a little while. Just for a little while. In the big whole scheme perspective of the whole picture. But he gonna deal with y'all, man. And he's gonna be with us again. "But thou, O godless man, and all others most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against thy servant of God. For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of Almighty God, who seeth all things. For our brethren who now have suffered a short pain, just a short pain, are dead under God's covenant of everlasting life. But thou through the judgment of God shall receive just punishment for thy pride." So they're going to get that punishment for their pride, because the nations have been very prideful. "But I, as my brethren, offer up my body for the life of the laws of our father, beseeching God that he will speedily be merciful unto our nation, and that thou by torment and plagues mayest confess that he alone is God." So they're gonna, by plagues, see, and it says that thou by torments and plagues may confess that he alone is God. Right? And that's what we've seen today. We've seen the torments, we've seen the plagues on the 2/3 of our people, on all of us, really, on all nations. Right? In that in me and my brethren, the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon all nations, may cease. And what you see, for the 1/3 in Israel, those plagues are going to cease. "Then the king, being in a rage, handed him handled him worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked. So this man died undefiled, and put his whole trust in the Lord." And that's what you do. Boom, right there. When they come for you, what do we do? Die undefiled and put your whole trust in the Lord. Last of all, after the sons the mother's died. The mother died. Let this be enough now to have spoken concerning the adulterous feast and the extreme tortures. I mean, that's all they got to be said. The mother died because you lose your sons like that. I don't know if she was killed or tormented, but she died. You gonna give up the ghost. So she could be back with them and she could be with the Lord. So what do you do when they come for you? Verse 40. So this man died undefiled and put his whole trust in the Lord. That's your answer. Salvation to the elect. Shalom.